This is a speedrun demonstration of the indie Japanese RPG game, LiEat, created by the great artist Miyoshiba Sensei. It's a game made in Wolf RPG, so for those familiar with Wolf RPG or RPG Maker, this game should be very familiar mechanically. However, Miyoshiba's games tend to be much more story-focused, so we'll be spending most of our time talking to people and investigating, and only a little bit of time doing any real combat. But since the game is relatively short, let's just get right into it, and we can talk about it as we go. So, we start at new game, and we'll end after the fight with the final boss. And nope. So it starts off with a little storybook segment where we find out about a story of a vampire that was living in a town until it was driven out by the townsfolk. Meditashi. However, while the parents think that the story is happily ever after, the kids aren't quite so sure. And then we get to meet our protagonists. First, we meet the con man going by the name Leo for this story, as well as his adopted daughter, Ethna, who likes to go by Effie. But since we're a con man, the first thing we do in town is try and find an informant that we can sell our information to. However, we're going to talk to her, and she's going to say this could take a while, so we should find a place to stay for the night first. So we should talk to the one person that still lives in town, Keith Rickfire. And he says that's fine, you can take one of the empty houses for the night. So we've secured where to stay, but while we're here, we'll also check his garden, and we'll end up finding in the garden the ultimate weapons. So even though we've just started the game, we now have the absolute best weapons we could possibly have, and we'll never have to really fight a fair fight. And since we have a place to stay and we've got powerful weapons, we're going to talk to our informant, and we're going to reveal Ethna is a dragon, which means she was born from a wish and has magic powers. And her magic power is that she can make lies corporal, and then after doing so, she can defeat and eat the lies. We'll give a little demonstration. But while Keith is continuing to sell that, we get to go explore the town. We meet Rosalie, and she's a little busy for us at the moment, so she asks us to go find her friend, Levin. Levin is a cat, and he likes to read. But now that we've done that, we go and find Levin, let him know that Rosalie's looking for him. We'll go hang out with Keith again. And he doesn't really believe our power either, and we're getting a little hungry, so we ask him to tell a lie. So he tells a little lie saying that he finished the cleaning, which isn't true. He didn't clean at all. So now that he's seen our powers of us eating a lie, he believes us, but he's a little busy too, so he tells us we can talk to his sister. So we're going to talk to Rachel. She's a little bit of a shut-in, but she also has trouble saying no to people, so we're going to teach her how to say no to people. Yeah. Yeah. But now that she's learned that, we need to go back. We've had our fun, but we have to go meet up with Leo. So we go eat a lie, and then we go back and talk to Leo again. He's in the house that we're staying in. We tell him what we've learned of the town from the townsfolk. And he tells us, you know, we've had a good time, but it's time to go to bed. And even though he says that, we're still a little awake. So we're going to go play with the informant lady for a little bit. Once we have a little bit of talk and we've tired ourselves out, now we can go to bed. But while we sleep, there's a sound in the night. We need to go investigate. So we go to the back alley behind town. And this misinformant lady, she's not having a very good night. Ignore anything you might read on the screen. Don't worry about it. It's a family-friendly story. But since we have found a site of a crime, we need to go meet up with Rosalie, because we know that Rosalie has a phone. We need her to call the police. So we talked to Rosalie. We have a little conversation about how she won't let us touch the phone to make the call because she knows we're a con man and we'd probably steal all the information. But since she's making the call, we'll go to bed and wait for the night. So now we head outside and we get to meet with Neil, the police chief. Turns out Leo's got a bit of a backstory with him, but it's a long story. And it's time for Leo to do a little investigating. So we're going to go talk to Rosalie again. And she's going to tell us more about the story of the vampire and how this vampire was driven out of town. In exchange for this information, we're going to bribe her with an amazing super rare cookie, the kind you have to wait months to get. And she thinks that's a pretty fair deal. So now that we've got that information, we're going to go talk to Keith, and we're going to find out what he was up to last night. But he doesn't really have much to say, because he doesn't trust us. We're a con man. So we try and talk to his sister. But unfortunately, yesterday we taught our sister how to say no, so she's not going to say anything to us either. And with our investigation with the townsfolk pretty much going nowhere, we're going to go to the alley and investigate the scene of the crime again. Where they're going to let us know that there's no wolf around, and it was only sour berry, not real blood. Interesting. So while Leo is doing investigating, Effie's also having little adventures of her own. Where she's gotten bored of eating. So she's going to go try to read a book. Unfortunately, she's very young and she doesn't know how to read. But she does find a picture with some writing on it. Since she can't read, her plan is, well, we've just made a new friend. And she's older than us. She can totally read. So we asked Rachel to read her, and she says, well, that's very interesting, this picture. Because it's a picture of me and my family. But I was told that there were no pictures left of my family. So we've had our fun with her, but now it's time to, instead of learning about other people, we'll learn about ourselves. So we're a dragon, and it turns out Neil is also a dragon. He was also born from a wish. So he tells us a little bit about dragon powers and how they work. And the horns appearing is kind of a sign of the power showing up. But it's all a bit much for us. So we're just going to go run up with Leo again, and it's time to put this investigation to an end. So we're going to confront Keith, because he's being very suspicious with all his lies. So we're gonna force him to lie, and as we do so, his lies pop out. And we'll have to defeat and eat them. Unfortunately, we're getting a lot of misses here. And unfortunately, he doesn't like being confronted, so Keith is going to shut off the lights and disappear into the night. But we're going to try and go after him. And when we do so, the door is locked. Oh, well, as long as we're stuck in here, we might as well do some investigating. So first we find a book about the fact that vampires can't handle the sun. Then we go into his room, and we find a book that it turns out he's looking to how to defeat vampires. Very strange. As long as we're here, we want to make sure our friend Rachel is safe, and unfortunately her door's locked. And now the town is starting to be taken over by the lies. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work here, clearing out the lies. And now that we've got those lies out of the way, we found a key to the secret room in the center. So we're going to have to try and get our way there, avoiding this big lie, because big lies can just defeat us. And we go in the back and we find out from the family history that this family, the Rigfires, they actually are related to the vampire that was driven out. So we'll do a little safety healing. Gonna dodge that big guy. Now we dip into the alleyway where we find poor Neil has been knocked down. Oh no! Actually, he's fine. He was just sleeping. Turns out his dragon power gives him invincibility, so he goes back to sleep. And here we'll now confront Keith, who lies and says that he is the vampire, but we met him out during the day, in the sunlight, so we know it's not true. But he won't give up the lie, so he's now being taken over by it. As a result, we'll have to defeat him. Time. So that was LiEat. We're now going to have a little epilogue where we save Keith from having been taken over by the lies. And it reveals that it's actually Rachel that is the vampire, and that's why she's been living as a shut-in. So with this tragedy solved, it's now time for our con man and our heroine to move on to the next town. But we'll have a little discussion with Keith as he needs to sort out his affairs. But yeah, this is LiEat, a little cute indie RPG by Miyoshiba Sensei. It is the first in a trilogy, and I hope that this game has inspired you to check it out and play through it on your own. It's available in a multitude of languages, as well as inspired you to consider going on and checking out the entire trilogy. So thank you again, and with that, oyasuminasai.